All right, welcome back to SEMA 360 PNS style. We are still in Big Bear, California.
Yes, we are.
We had planned to do a wrap up, kind of the finishing touches on the Subaru we had in the other day. And unfortunately, that car wasn't available. But we do have a car that's going out for delivery today. And Prentice, we're going to start by wiping this car down, kind of do our dust down. And we're using paint gloss today. So talk to me about what paint gloss is and how it works and so what we do with it.
Right. So paint gloss is your spray and wipe quick detailer. It's fantastic. It's got great lubricity properties. And what I love to use it for is things like if I've already detailed the car and I've got a little bit of smudginess there, I can either spray it directly on the towel or spray it on the surface and just give that a quick wipe, and that goes away instantly. So fingerprints, we've got Sydney over here doing more of a wholesale, just taking care of all the dust in this car. Now, you could either spray it directly on the surface like that, and then come back and just wipe it off. And that's going to take care of all that dust. And then you flip the towel over, a little bit of, and get rid of those leftover streaks. And look at that. It's beautiful compared to the dusty part right there. Another thing I like to use paint gloss for is final detailing. So let's say I've waxed or sealed this car.
And in this case, we've actually got coating on this car already.
And
so.
well, I've got, some grill work or something down here that's a little bit more intricate. I'm going to go ahead and mist that down and then come back with my towel and just get in there and make sure that all gets cleaned up and protected as well. Because paint gloss does have a little bit of protection. So that's what I love paint gloss for. Let's go around the room because we got other people that love paint gloss.
And this is a product that's got anti-static properties, right?
Yes.
So that's going to help us with redusting before we deliver to the customer. Perfect. So Sydney, what's your favorite thing about paint gloss?
You just said it. So that is actually my favorite paint. My favorite use for it is I'm a one-person shop, and so a lot of times I need my cars to leave fairly quickly, so I don't have the ability to keep them overnight a lot of times. So I will usually spray a car down completely with paint gloss, and that's out the door. Because of the anti-static properties, I don't have to worry about bead maker using it as a sealant, and if it's not cured, it can attract dust. So I can give it a good layer of paint gloss. It doesn't harm the bead maker, and then the car can go out and I don't have to worry about that customer collecting a lot of dust. So
cool.
That is my favorite use.
And yeah, you got a one bay kind of shop to work from. So
yeah,
parking them outside and or in an alternate spot just to we'd all love to have this shop. We just don't have it. So,
right.
Kyle, I see you're working inside the door here. What's your favorite use for paint gloss?
It gives a nice shine and pulling the dust off in door jambs. Around the hinges, the latch, all that. Final prep. My favorite.
Cool. And Rennie, I see you're actually doing some things with, this is a canvas top convertible.
Right.
And you're using a towel with paint gloss on it. So
yeah, it's just
tell me about that.
So all it's just doing is we're just pulling this thing set here just for a few days. The owner's the fire chief, and he's been on all the fires. So we've been waiting for delivery. We also wanted to take and kind of use it for SEMA 360. And we're just taking the dust, and you can see here is we actually treated the top, completely coated it, cleaned it. But what it's doing is if you use the right Rag Company towel, you're not going to leave a bunch of lint on it. And so we're going to take the dust off, but not leave lint on. But yet, to Sydney's point, to your point, to Prentice's point, to Kyle's point, is the anti-dusting qualities of this is pretty cool. So it's pretty much universal across the whole car.
Really universal product. And we oftentimes use it as a light, if you will, waterless type product. When we get to a car, we're going to go do a demo or just work on a body panel.
Absolutely.
Speaking of towels, because you got one in your hand, and this is a great towel here. That's a edgeless towel. And what kind of towel is that?
You know, I can't keep track. The Rag Company's got so many. What is this? Yeah, I think it is. But they've got so many. But it's one of my favorite towels. We use it for paint gloss, but we also use it during the polishing process. It's a very gentle towel, and so it works really good with heat finish when we're polishing out. But you can see this is a 14-year-old car, and it's turned out pretty good.
And so you coated this with inspiration.
We did.
And it sat for a few days. Did you guys bead maker it when you got done with it?
We actually, this is really cool because this car had a lot of issues that we had to deal with, so we dug pretty deep. on very sensitive paint. It's had some paint work done to it, so it had some tooling marks and so forth in it. But we actually put inspiration on it, and then the next morning, this has got Soul over the entire car, and then it's got Beatmaker over the top of that.
Now it's got paint gloss.
Now it's got paint gloss on it. So, and he's coming to get it here in about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
So we got a couple other finishing touches to do. But
Yeah, let me
before we
just
go
one
on
more
there-
thing that paint gloss is excellent for. Rennie, I'm going to squeeze right in here real quick. Is wheels. So a final touch up on your wheels. You know, you spend a bunch of time cleaning them with brake buster, but you see just a little bit of leftover schmutz on there. Is that a word? Is that an official word? And you just
It's
come
an
back with
official
paint gloss.
detailing term.
That's right. And also with the anti-static properties of that, that's going to help to reduce the amount of brake dust that collects on there later. I could even go in here into the barrel. I see a little bit of dirt in the barrel here. And just come in and grab that too. So, and then also remember to make sure you get your lip right there every time. All right.
So we've talked about the great properties of paint gloss, and Sydney and I are going to go work on the interior of this car. But you know, something that we didn't say at all, and this has really been what the product's primarily been used for decades, is it's probably one of the best clay lubes I've ever had in my hands, and we use it almost exclusively as a clay lube in the kind of the commercial side of things. So it's great for clay, it's great for the synthetics, it can be for the auto scrub type pads. It's got a fantastic lubricity to it for that decon process. So that's really the primary use of paint gloss, but we just kind of gave you all the finishing touch items. So
Did anybody see drying?
no, because we all use Beatmaker for that. So Sydney and I are over on the interior of the car, and again, this is kind of getting ready for delivery, but it's not quite finished out. And this is a perfect car at 14 years old to kind of highlight the need for a little dressing. We've talked about how, you know, Express Interior can really leave a factory-looking finish because of its properties, but sometimes a car is a little older, more tired. Convertibles especially get that way. They get a lot of sun exposure. So you're going to use a product that we haven't really highlighted much this week. And what is that?
So this is natural finish. So this is just it's an interior dressing. I also use it on some exterior pieces also, but this is probably my favorite one because I think most customers, for me at least, that's always one of their biggest concerns is I don't want anything sticky or shiny on the inside. And so this is such a great dressing. It is going to leave it nice and soft. It's just literally going to live up to its name. It's going to feel natural. And here's my favorite part is when we put it on, and I just put it on with a microfiber applicator, is you are going to notice a bit of a shine as I put it on. And I like to call this a guide shine. And this is great because then you know exactly where you've been. So you're not going to be missing, you know, big chunks of the door or something and leaving a little bald spot. And then what's nice is you can see the difference here between the dry
I'm going to
portion.
close it a little bit for Bob
Yeah.
to maybe get a better angle of
You
that.
see that? But what's nice is in about 3 to 5 minutes, this is going to really soak in and cure to like a nice matte finish. So it will look dressed, but it's going to just be a complete matte, brand new, fresh appearance. It does have the smell of leather, so it is going to leave a little bit of that behind.
I was
which
going to
is-
say it really
which is great
smells
for interior.
fantastic.
Yeah, it smells really good. And it's not heavy, it's really light. So this is such a great dressing. Customers just love it because it doesn't feel sticky. And it does not attract dust either, which is a huge problem with interior dressings.
And to give you an idea of not leaving a residue, I haven't done anything because I'm just kind of hosting here. So if you rub my hand on there, there's very little pickup on the glove as far as material. So it's
And
not
in
a
5
greasy
minutes, there
oil.
won't be any.
Yeah, it won't be any.
Won't be any.
So where can I use this, Sydney? Obviously, we're
So-
using it on the vinyl door
Yeah.
card here,
Yep.
but where else can we put it?
So you can use it on leather. It's perfectly fine on leather. I use it on, you know, these pieces and the door jambs here to give those a little freshen up. I also use it on the inner wheel wells. Just gives them a nice finish, nothing greasy. You know, it doesn't attract dust. I will also use it on the engine bay compartment after cleaning. It's a nice kind of final finish to turn everything nice and black again. So I just kind of use it on anything that, and really what's funny is even if you get it on paint, it doesn't leave a greasy, sticky mess. It easily wipes off.
Which
So,
we
yeah.
would use our paint gloss to just paint
Yeah,
it right on.
yeah.
So that's perfect.
Yep.
And this is a Pro Series product.
Mhm.
been with us for a long time.
Yeah.
I love it because, I mean, the smell is fantastic. The finish is great. It's easy to use.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes people say to me it's a little watery, but I mean, I think it just means that it goes a long way.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, it spreads very nicely. It's awesome.
and, you know, dressings aren't super sexy, but boy, when they aren't right,
Yeah.
they're super messy, and that creates
Yeah.
problems. So this has been one of our favorite products for a long, long time, and it's going to stay in the Pro Series line for as long as we can keep it there. Although I get a sense from the team that they're recruiting it over to the double black side. So.
Yeah, I love it.
Cool. Well, we're going to do some tires, and this car's really dressed for tires. So Kyle and I have a little special project over on the wash mat we're going to work on. We're going to go with our Wipe and Shine. So Kyle, we got a Roadrunner here.
Way cool, huh?
This is a way cool car. Now this car was totally restored a few years ago, right? And so it's got some performance, kind of retro vintage style tires on it. And we all know these can kind of get a little brownish, kind of get that, if you will, that older tire feel to them.
Yeah.
And so we cleaned these with what products to get them ready?
Yesterday, we prepped this car. And actually, I got a chance to correct and coat this car 2 years ago.
Oh, cool.
So I've already know these rims and I know these tires well.
Right.
And these wheels, they turn that orange color
They
really
got orangish
easy.
brown color. Yeah, they
I
look
spent a lot of
really
time
old.
actually scrubbing on these white wall letters. And so what we're going to do, we're going to use Wipe and Shine on the tire.
Okay.
And then because we have these white letters, I'm going to come back afterwards and I'm just going to touch up the letters with a little bit of knockoff just to take off any residue that comes from wiping the tire.
Okay, and what we're getting when we wipe that tire is the carbon black out of the rubber, transferring onto the white of the raised lettering.
So we're going to go with Wipe and Shine. This is in our pint. Beautiful blue color.
And it's a gel dressing.
It's
right?
a gel.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and put it on the top edge.
We're using the Prentice St. Clair technique there.
A little bit there. Yeah, I like that technique. So I'm going to come on down here.
Now that's, again, the flag tip brush.
Yep.
And you're going to just start with it by working onto the surface. I'm going to move this bottle out of our way.
Yeah.
And so I see you're really getting the edges on the outside to make sure that we get a nice even touch there.
Yeah, I want to get it inside all the tread edges.
Okay.
Make sure we get that covered first. Because if I want to apply more, I can. But man, this brush was already pre-seasoned. So it already has Wipe and Shine on it from other videos we've been working on.
So this is a veteran brush, as we like to say.
A veteran brush. Yeah. So Wipe and Shine is really nice because if these tires were wet, slightly damp, maybe some drips on it, Wipe and Shine, and the dressing that it is, will allow us to dress right through that water. So Keith, we're gonna let that dry, but while it's drying, I'm gonna take a little bit of knockoff. We showed this in our chemtrol segment yesterday. I'm just going to make sure I get these letters touched up. So if I need to touch it up with a little bit more, it's fine.
And it actually really does make a difference. I mean, and this is a great tip for any of those new detailers out there who are trying to kind of get into the vintage car market.
So the reason I did that is because I wanted to get the dressing between the letters, right? Now I'm just going to clean that off. And if I need to come back and just go between them again, just do that. Right there.
You know, what's cool with that brush is you can really get those tips of those edges right up into that wheel rim.
Right there.
Without smearing that stuff all over the wheel. In this case, we've got actually a chrome ring that's kind of popped in out there.
So I could take some paint gloss on them towel if I wanted, and I could hit the wheel as a final, but I didn't get any on. So I'm just going to go around the edge with this fresh side of microfiber. We're good to go. And these wheels are actually ceramic coated.
Cool.
So we're ready. So let that cure. How long would you say it takes for Wipe and Shine to dry?
You know, really, it's not long. I would say, depending on temperature and condition, it's going to vary, but probably 10 minutes or so. So let's do this other back tire back here. You've got one that's already set up on the other side.
Yes.
But I think, you know, we've taken a nice kind of measured approach to this, right? We've taken our time and done our thing. But, you know, if you're doing this in the shop, I really want people to see what it looks like at games. Okay, so if you don't mind just going through it, don't talk to us about it. Just go do your tile process.
I like that.
Show us how fast this really goes. Because I hear people say, well, man, it's just faster to spray it on. And
I'm
I'm
gonna
like,
put my finger up here to protect the inside of that wheel left though.
yeah, this is a pretty thirsty tire because we
Yeah.
really cleaned the heck out of them.
Yeah, we
The
did. We
other
had some
day.
fun with it.
We put a lot of wheel cleaning product on this, some tires to get them to really be ready to accept the dressing. And that's a key part, isn't it, Kyle? Is a clean rubber will accept and hold the dressing much better than dirty.
Maybe when we roll the car forward, I'll double check that top edge. I don't want to get any closer. There you go. Now, on a normal car, it doesn't have white letters or white walls. Yeah, I'm not going to
this
take this time.
process isn't
Because this is a classic with these sweet wheels. That's why we do that. There you go.
took us less than a minute to get there, and that's a fantastic finish. So, again, Wipe and Shine comes in pints
Pints and gallons
and
and fives.
and I think we can make arrangements for 55.
Yeah,
We
if you want a 55, we can make it happen.
Yep.
Now, this is a product that Sydney turned me on to. She said, Kyle, you got to try Wipe and Shine. I'm like, seriously? I'm used to the spray on because I do a lot of big RVs. I want to spray it on and get it done. Now, all the vehicles that we do coatings on, this is my top tier product.
I think the cool thing is if you look at how little product we actually use, you know, so that's another thing. People tell me all the time, it's faster to use a thin spray on dressing. I use less product. We really didn't use a lot of product.
Nope.
So a little goes a long way, and it gives a great finish out. So speaking of finishing out, I got to go over and get with Rennie.
I got one more tire to
work
do.
on a windshield. We'll see you in a bit. All right, so I'm with Rennie and I'm with Sydney again.
Yeah,
We're back.
I took and decided to take and get a little help, and so that way, because we each do a lot of these, and more again in retail, more in the training side. I wish Diane was here because she actually trains on this, and so a couple of important points before we get to actually doing the work is that we really, to get maximum effect out of this, it's a double layer. And how long do you wait between the coats?
1 hour between coats.
Okay. And then also what we figured out too is bead maker again, 2 hours. We love that 2 hours in between the when you do the second layer on this is waiting that 2 hours, putting bead maker on. But you had an important point about doing the
Yeah. So as soon as I put the bead maker on the windshield, I always go up, see how our windshield wipers are up. I always take that opportunity to load up a towel with bead maker and just clean the windshield wiper blade with the bead maker. And that gives it not only a little bit of nourishment, but some protection and glide. And then that way we make sure we don't have leftover dirt that's gonna hang up on the windshield. So I always do that just as an extra step. And then one thing we didn't mention, because we've already done it, is this has been prepped with the Clarity Cream and paint prep. So
Yep.
that also is a very important step in doing the Vue window coating, is to start with the Clarity Cream and then do the double layer.
Because there's nothing worse than locking those water spots in.
Right,
Oh, no,
yeah, you don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that.
Don't want to do that.
So what's our next step? We've prepped with the Clarity Cream. We've gone through. We've used our paint
Yep.
prep to remove any residue. We've got basically as good a surface as we're going to get.
And we've already got the first coating on there.
Right.
Yes.
So
the
we're
first one's
We're
laid
at the
down.
second coat now.
we know we're more than 45 minutes, but we're at least 45 minutes down the
Right.
road. So what's our next step of the process, guys?
Then it's just going to be to load up our applicators.
And so this is our applicator that's got the barrier
Barrier,
in
yep.
it, so that the product doesn't soak into the sponge. It just stays on the surface of the microfiber.
Yep.
And you'll see that also is that Sydney and I both kind of really load up the pad. I don't go light on it. A lot of people go
Mhm.
cheap.
Yeah.
You're gonna pay for it. It's very little product when you think about it. I like to get it along the edges. And so now we're gonna go ahead and take and work. And Sydney, I'll just go ahead and walk it in.
So this is a 30 ml bottle. And Sydney, how many windshields are you getting out of a
Oh,
bottle
gosh.
like this?
Probably like 8 to 10, honestly. It's obviously going to depend a lot of times on the SUVs. I will do the back window as well. So I'm just going to call it 8 to 10, even though some of those may have been back windows.
And it's great on the back window of an SUV
Oh, yeah.
because that's where all that dirt just builds up on
Yep.
the back, and it really can cause a lot of
contamination,
grind
yep.
and contamination issues.
Yep.
Now I saw two different techniques here. Rennie, I saw you put a diagonal line down, and then Sydney just started and did a wet edge on her far side and box in.
Yeah. And the
Is
only
there a wrong answer here? Right answer
No,
here? Is it preference?
it's if you're working in a hotter environment, is to put that wet line across it. I just reached across here. That way when I come through it, I'm picking up fresh product. If you're in a controlled environment like this, you really don't need to do that, you know. But I just get used to. I'm an old mobile guy. Everything was difficult.
You can see that rainbow effect. I don't know if that picks up, but as soon as we kind of get to this rainbow effect here, then we've got a good minute to get it wiped off.
Okay, and what are we using for towel here? This looks like it's a minor
Yep.
gray towel
Yep.
from
This is
the rag
just an-
company.
Yep, Edgeless 365, and
Okay.
it's called the Minor. And this is really great because it's literally just a one towel, and then we always flip it, but you only need one towel for this process, which is so nice.
Did you see how she's psychic and read my mind? Is that we just immediately she went to exactly what we were doing, and you must be married. My wife does the exact same thing.
So this is awesome. This is great. We obviously have a cure time here, 45 minutes. So we want to keep the wiper blades up.
Mhm.
That makes
Yep.
sense. Any post-treatment things we need to do before delivery to the customer? Anything you guys do with it?
2 hours
afterwards?
later,
2
we put
hours.
beat maker on there, and then Sydney's trick is to actually wipe
do a
bead maker down
line.
here.
Yeah, and I can do that. Do we have a bottle bead maker?
We
We have a bunch of bottles of bead maker.
Anybody
go.
find one? I'll
And
just show you guys.
I can't hand stuff over a car. Sorry, just the old me.
So I just do literally a line, pretty heavy on my towel. And then I just grab that in that line and clean the wiper blade.
Hand that over, and I'll do this one. And again, don't get this speed maker on that fresh coating yet.
Yep.
It's not quite ready for it, so I'm just going to come right down through the tip.
And so where you're doing this, so pretend like we've just bead makered the window and then we do the wiper blades. These are going to stay up for that 2-hour curing time. And then so it's going to cure on here and the windshield. So when you put it down, you're good to go. Just don't put it down before those 2 hours.
Another great point is if you get any kind of coating onto this rubber, you're going to get chatter.
Yeah.
It's going to make the rubber. It's going to make the rubber stiffer.
Yeah.
So it's really important is that don't set these down now because they will get stiff with product. So let that Vue cure a little bit. Now let's talk about longevity on windshields.
Yeah.
Because everybody asks that question.
Yeah.
They
How
do.
long is this going to last? You
Yeah.
know?
So here we're in the mountains of Southern California. We've got granite. If you can imagine, it's granite coming down. The mountains are built out of granite, and there's decomposed granite everywhere up here, including the roads. And so that's going to pelt this windshield, and slowly over time, it just strips it off. Glass is really hard to get coatings to stick to. And so the fact that a glass coating doesn't last quite as long as a paint coating, that's just because of Dave could go into it a little more. Matter of fact, Dave, are you here? You want to jump in on this real quick?
Yeah.
Talk
sure.
about why doesn't stuff stick to glass as easy as it does other surfaces?
Well, glass is obviously a mineral and it has silica, and it's just a different surface. It's harder. It's not as porous. Which doesn't accept the penetration of the product anywhere near as well. So
Gotcha.
it's definitely just stuck on the outside.
So it's going to wear off. So in some cases, you got a collector car like the Roadrunner, man, that's going to be on there for a year or two. But my daily driver up and down, and I'm ripping up and down the mountain end, always under the speed limit, by the way, is that might need to be retreated every 3 to 6 months, just because it's really decomposed. Now, if you live in the big city and you don't have as much contaminants, it's going to last a little longer.
Yeah,
So
I personally have had it on my car for 9 months, and it just rained for the first time a couple days ago, and
It's fine.
it was totally fine.
That's it.
We're going to reveal a video here next week. And I drove in the rain from Portland to Seattle. I didn't turn my wipers on. And if you live in the Northwest, you know what I'm talking about for the rain. That product the water just blew right off the window. And it's held up. And Sydney and I put that on in July. So we're 4 months in, and it's acting like it was on yesterday.
Right. So there's the extreme. So if you live in an environment where there's a lot of road salt or a lot of debris on the roads, it's going to last. The lifespan is going to be a little less. If you live in an area to where there's not as much, or you don't drive as much, it's going to last a long time.
So this kind of leads us into Dave's here. Dave, welcome to the team. Dave's been kind of keeping the wheels on the things at the shop, but he was able to get up yesterday. And so we're kind of wrap up our year with a tour of our 12 for 12. Right. And so we got to take a little trip across the shop, which is never a bad thing because we get to see the cool cars and all the toys on the way. But we're going to go over to our showcase. So Bob's going to lead us over and get a beautiful view of this Beatmaker Orange Roadrunner. I don't know what we've got to do to make that kind of a sponsored car, but we'll figure that out someday. Past our storefront, which is really a cool setup Rennie's got here in the shop. You know, you can shop at Rennie's shop as well as come and get trained. But we're going to go over to the corner here. Tucked away is our 12 for 12 this year. And, you know, this was, I think, 2 years ago, we started talking about what can we do with new products, Dave? Right. We handed you a list and we said, let's look at this. And so last year we made it a challenge, put that stake out there and said, can we get to 12 products in 12 months?
We met at right before the beginning of the year and came in and said, we're going to do 12 products. We're going to release one product a month. And given the difficulties that this year has posed, it's pretty amazing. But we got 12 products.
And the bonus was we didn't put it all on Dave. We did bring in some products that were not chemicals, but we actually kind of exceeded it because we got to 13. We'll talk about that last and why there's an orange towel sitting in one of the boxes here. But let's kind of just run through them. And I think we've covered a lot of these, so we're not going to get too in depth. But the first product I want to look at is just because we'll kind of go across the top here, which is our coating line.
Right.
We rounded out the inspiration line this year.
Right.
So
right.
they all carry the inspiration line, but we had Soul coating and obviously a 100 ml bottle, big bottle, 1 year coating. You know, talk a little bit about what the development of that product was like compared to having an inspiration out.
Well, what Soul provides for the user is an easier experience. If you're intimidated by, you know, a real official coating, you've got, you know, I do field these calls from customers asking me like, well, how do I go? Can I just put a coating on a car? It's like, well, it's not necessarily the application of the coating. It's the preparation of the surface before you can coat that car. Right. Soul gives you this opportunity to basically not make quite such the commitment of the coating, yet you get that coating result, right? You get wonderful gloss, you get, you know, good shine, and the durability,
yeah, and the hydrophobic look, and just
and a protective layer that's you know, semi-permanent. It's an awesome thing. So you know, Soul gives you that opportunity, which is really a nice addition.
Plus, the customer experience is really awesome, especially when you start talking about how good it smells. I mean, I don't know what you did there, but that's pretty cool. I mean, that's
right. So yeah, the you know, the you know, the solid coating products can be a little bit more difficult to work with. So we wanted to provide a better user experience across the board.
Right. And so that's really, that can be the prosumer level product.
Yeah,
that can be,
absolutely.
You know, the guy at home who wants to try it on his car.
The guy that's
probably
talented,
has a chance to have some success.
He knows what he's doing, but yeah, just not fully trained on a coating. This is a good opportunity.
Right. And so kind of paired in there, we get into the Sydney Gwynn part of the showcase, as I like to call it, because she's really been a huge fan and proponent of the next two products here. We got 2 in 1, because they really are kind of paired. And that's a theme with you, Dave, with a lot of the products we've built over the years in the double black line. They're paired together, you know, our carpet system.
Right.
These two are really kind of a match made in heaven. You've got Clarity Cream. Right. And glass polishes aren't really new to the industry, but I think they needed a little bit of a shot in the arm and a reason to have them. So let's talk about Clarity Cream.
So glass polish is actually almost a concept that was around when I was young. People did glass polishing. And then I think the market and everything changed to, well, you know, we want it faster, easier, we want it to be free, we want to just, you know, clean the glass. But then I think what we found over time is in order to get your glass really clean, you had this multi-step process. There's scraping, and then there's putty, and then there's, you know, several wipes and trying, you know, maybe even using some sort of a scrubby pad to kind of get that glass clean. Well, heck, it was always done with a glass polish product. Now, this is not a scratch remover.
No, and we want to be clear about that. I mean, we don't really recommend.
Makes you think that you're going to be removing scratches. This is a surface cleaner, and it does a wonderful job of affecting the surface. Almost an amazing job. You can physically see, especially once the glass gets wet, of what you've actually done to that silica surface.
Oh yeah, and when you start taking water spots off with this,
right,
man, it's a pretty amazing thing. Now, a lot of folks have asked me, well, hey, what, you know, can I use this on paint? And the abrasive in here is a little harder, I would say.
Yes.
So it's really not apt for painted surfaces. It's really a glass product, and we really don't even want to necessarily use it on that foil chrome. It would be too aggressive for that, wouldn't you think?
Right, especially when, you know, you don't have real chrome anymore.
Right, we're standing next to a car with real chrome.
You got a real chrome that's very hard. Yeah, you'd probably be okay, but most chrome is not as, you know, not like the real chrome.
So this is really a glass product
for
today's car, and that's awesome. And then we just covered Vue, so
right.
I mean, what's more to say about Vue than you know, what a great pairing and what a great prep process there.
Yeah, one of the things that you'll find when you do Clarity Cream is it does take out the beading process, the beading properties of the window for a period of time. So, you know, Vue pulls that right back in onto a perfectly clean surface.
And that's awesome. And then carrying on with the Sydney showcase, we get over here. I say that because the Chuck Connor Converses here are treated with our next product, which is the Inspiration Fabric Coating Protectant. And so we were talking about this earlier this morning. And so there's kind of been a little bit of a change in our formula for fabric protectant. And so talk about that a little bit, because we've seen a difference in the chemical makeup here.
Right. So this is a fluoro-based product. It's a solvent. It's held in a solvent, which is a little different. A lot of the fluoro-based products are actually in a water emulsion. Those provide incredible stain protection for both water-based and oil-based stains, which is why you want the fluoro products. But unfortunately, the aqueous-based products did not provide the kind of the beading and the repellency that people like to see. And actually, it does help. You know, I mean, if you've got a stain that just got there and it's repelled by the seep, certainly you can just pull it right back off.
Right. It's easier to grab a towel and blot that up and just pick it up
and take it right off.
Right.
This was actually a pretty fun process because we did go through a lot of iterations trying to get both the beading process and the stain repellency, and also we get a beading from oil stains as well, which is quite unusual.
Yeah, because oil usually tends to, because of the mineral
oil kind of just soaks right in, and if you do, you know, the infamous you know, paper, you know, the coffee filter test,
right,
which is great with water, it works with this product and oil as well. Oil will not penetrate that coffee filter, so it is a really high level of protection. It's really easy to use. It takes a while to dry. You got to give it some time.
Has got to get fully dried, and we recommend 2 layers. Lay down the first one, really work it in, let it set, and then come back and reapply for a second layer for maximum protection.
Right.
But we want them to dry in between. So much like a coating application, you got to allow for some set time in between, which is the drying, and then the reapplication. And again, let it dry before you deliver.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
Great new product for us.
Amazing product.
So we get down to some fun stuff here that's just kind of really interesting. Odor Doc, which is a great product, super clean packaging. I love this packaging. And it's really an easy use product. They've got the little line here. So talk a little bit about odor removal, because most people think of odor removal, they think of ozone units or some kind of deionizer or something like that. What's Odor Doc?
So Odor Doc is chlorine dioxide, and actually the mechanism that chlorine dioxide uses to remove odors is the same as you find from the ozone. It's a free radical, basically molecule atom out there that's going to grab hold and break down odor molecules, because odor molecules are reactive.
Right.
So what this does is you put this in the car, close the car up. It basically permeates the atmosphere and the surfaces with a chlorine dioxide, which is, you know, safe for use in the car. It is somewhat a professional level product. You want to stay, you know, out of that car. You want to make sure it gets aired out and stuff really well after it. But what it does is it destroys all the odors.
Because it chemically changes it.
It
So we're
chemically breaks them down.
if you will, on a molecular level or mechanically, actually to exchanging carbon and oxygen molecules and creating new substance. So we want to let the car air out afterwards,
Right.
Because it does create a carbon monoxide, carbon
No,
dioxide.
carbon monoxide. No carbon monoxide. That would be
But carbon,
extremely dangerous. This is an issue. I mean, you don't want to be breathing it. It is definitely bad for you, but it's not going to kill you unknowingly like carbon monoxide
okay,
would.
but it does create a different, and so we want to air the car out
Yes.
afterwards. Okay.
Yeah.
So the cool thing about this is, and we've had a product similar to this in our auto vaccine, but this product acts much more quickly.
It's
a
more,
much
it's, yes, you
faster
get a higher
process.
concentrate.
Okay. So really, we recommend this for professional.
Yeah, yes, we do.
And the quality of the water
I think
is,
the auto vaccine product would be maybe a little bit more appropriate
Yeah,
for a retail use. Yet, nevertheless, you still have that getting the, you know, opening up the car, getting the gases,
the
that
air
it creates,
exchange in there.
yeah, out of the car. But then once that's done, it's gone. There's nothing left after that. You're done.
So this product, does the water quality matter when we put water in here?
Not to my knowledge.
Just so tap water is
Right.
appropriate, and obviously the better the water you can use, the better off you are. But pretty easy product to be able to incorporate into a detail shop. Nice thing is it's a really fixed cost. Unlike running an ozone machine, you don't have to kind of guess at how long to run it, what concentration to run it.
Right.
You just pop it in there and follow the directions and go. So our next product that we introduced were actually some kind of adds to our line. And for a number of years, we had some coating applicators that were a little different. And we came into possession of an opportunity to use these pads, which have a liner in it.
Right.
And why is that important for us to have the liner that's in between the microfiber and the sponge part of this applicator?
Right. Yes. Well, you don't want all your product, which is an expensive product, stuck in the middle of the foam.
So this
Right.
allows us to put the right amount of product on the surface and it really to apply over or transfer onto the surface we're working on.
Right. Yes.
Doesn't
Good
sound like a
application.
big deal, but I mean, this is really a great thing for the end user. And it's now in all of our packaging as we go forward here. So that's cool. And then these brushes, we call them the kids sometimes, but Kyle and Sydney really were advocating to us that, hey, we need an upgrade to our brush line. So we've got two sizes. We got a large and a kind of a small event brush, as it's sometimes called, and a larger brush. One is a really nice synthetic soft nylon bristle, fantastic brush. And then this is a little stiffer bristle, natural fiber. It's a hog's hair brush. So great for cleaning, a fun brush to add to the line. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. Kyle's got a video where I think he's using this type of brush and he put it in his drill chuck and he was cleaning out cup holders with it.
Oh, wow.
And it's a pretty incredible, and he was using our favorite product, Express Interior, to clean out that cup holder. So I'm going to jump down a level. I know we'll talk about this in a second. Another product, and speaking of Kyle Clark, a new addition to our team, but not a new addition to our family. Kyle has been a fan and a friend and a user of our products for years.
Right.
And he's really a boat and RV guy, and that's one of the things he's known for. He does cars. Right. So what's this product?
Well, this is actually, this is not actually a new product. So it's Buff Tone.
Okay.
So Buff Tone was, and this product was kind of an unsung hero in in polishing of harder surfaces, where Kyle basically just turned around and said, "Do you know what you have here?" And
apparently we didn't, but we found out quickly.
Apparently we didn't. And you're, listening to Kyle and following his lead, this is just amazing. He certainly is the most experienced person that we know that's been doing these surfaces. I mean, when you start going after the surface of an RV, you have to know that you've got a lot of experience.
So speaking of the devil, here he is. You must have heard his name. His ears were burning. Something.
You want to talk about Kyle's RV?
Sure. So, years ago I was doing an RV and I asked Bob Phillips, said, hey, I need something that works on this Joco. I need something that's oily, that has protection, that's going to feed it. And Bob sent me this product and I started trying it and I loved it. So I called Bob and said, hey, this stuff's awesome. You got to give it a name about RVs and boats. And Kyle's was born.
So when you say feed it, and Dave, maybe you can help us a little with the chemistry. What does he mean by feed it? Because gel coats obviously are different paint, and actually even paint on a car like this is a little different than what we see on the new clear coats.
Right.
So when we say feed it, what does he mean?
Well, anybody who's ever worked on a gel coat realizes that it is not paint. And what happens is you'll do your process, and then it kind of just disappears. If you don't have a product that is balanced for that application, you're kind of feeling like you're wasting your time.
So is it that the product dries out from
the surface appears to dry out.
It's like conditioning and giving moisture to that dried out. Now, some of the newer fiberglass that aren't true gel coats, like the boats, they're a whole different world of more of like a dried out plastic. And as I tried this product and tested it over a few years, I realized that it was bringing back that shine that customers wanted. The biggest problem with RVs, and I do a lot of RVs, is people leave their RVs outside and forget about it.
Well, right, because not everybody has a garage like this.
Yeah, we don't have a shop like Randy Doyle, but that's the problem. This gives the ability for a detailer or even a enthusiast to polish out and bring a shine on an RV.
So foam pad, microfiber pad, wool pad.
I've had luck with all three, but I really like our lamb's wool pad with this. It tends to tickle the surface and allow the product to go in without clumping up on like a foam pad and loading it up. And I would suggest if you're going to do an RV or a boat, you're going to go through a lot of pads. You're not going to waste them. You're just going to need to use fresh pads often, clean them, not just with air, but actually clean them. So when I detail an RV, I can use 15 to 20 pads on an RV, wash them, and I use them on the next one. But so our P2703 and our P2704 lamb's wool with the black interface, that's what I love with that.
Cool. And so if I was to do it yourself, or I could hand apply this with microfiber towel or an applicator and be okay.
Yeah.
Not going to have a problem there.
It's going to take some work, but you can do it.
And the key thing we've talked about this is you're going to get your arm workout because you really want to make sure you shake this product up. There's a lot of solids in here. We want to make sure they get really suspended into the solution so they're ready to go. So you're going to get some good shake weight going when you start working with this product, but fantastic product for the gel coats, the RVs, the fiberglasses, and the old school paint.
The old school single stage paint. That's what it was originally for.
Perfect. So we're going to jump over, not a new product, but a new product to the double black family. So kind of amazing that we, on this product, didn't put it in there from the get-go. Right. Given that the guy whose name is on it is Rennie Doyle, and he's kind of a detailer of a little airplane we call Air Force One, which has a lot of aluminum on it. Right. I know you've spent a lot of time over the years working with this product to make sure we can take this thing to Air Force One and get that glow out of that plane that we like to have.
Absolutely. I actually, at years ago, purchased the exact same aluminum that Air Force One is made out of, because you can look up the specs.
Right.
And started working with this product on that aluminum, because it's an amazing amount of the differences in the aluminum and the cladding that's out there. But anyway, this is a product that's been used extensively on Air Force One
and our B-29 project,
and the B-29,
and a number of the other aircraft up there.
Right, and we were not really taking advantage of that experience and that opportunity. So bringing it into the double black line, we're giving it the exposure that it really deserves.
Yeah, it's a fantastic product. I mean, great on Airstream trailers, great on any kind of bare metal. Right. Diamond plate. I've used this on all sorts of different interesting surfaces.
Sure.
It's a great aluminum polish for RV wheels.
RV wheels and exhaust tips.
Trailers. I've done a lot of different
different
Yeah.
surfaces.
So real versatile. We have it with the minor.
Actually, it works on other metals as well. It
Right.
works on stainless steel. It's, you know, it's not, chrome is so hard. It's not spectacular on chrome, but it does a nice job of cleaning it
We
up.
got a product we can use on chrome.
Right,
So
absolutely.
we're in good shape.
But other metals are amazing. Brass is amazing.
And we got the minor grade towel in there. That's again, one of our great partner vendors in the rag company. That product we discovered a couple of years ago when they came on board the Air Force One project. That was our wipeout towel for all of our metal polish. And it did a great job of picking up all that debris. And anybody who's done any metal polish really knows that you can wipe and wipe and wipe off all of your metal polishing, and that debris just continues to come off and off and off.
It's
So
quite the process we have at Air Force One
Yeah.
for towel maintenance.
yeah, so huge thing. And then we get to the one that, you know, I think this was probably the biggest fight for you,
Right.
because this is a product that traditionally has a reputation for
Yeah.
smell, and that is Iron Buster. We'll
Right.
kind of show the bottle. It's a new product for us, pints,
Right.
gallons, and
Pints.
fives.
Yes.
So talk to us about Iron Buster, and know that everybody knows that the iron removal products, they change color, and you know that's kind of got
Right.
new and off.
So
But what's really going on there?
The Iron Buster, iron removal products actually just add that to the equation, because you do get, you know, iron out in the environment from, you know, brakes, from, you know, car transportation, delivery. You get a lot, you know, just driving around, fallout through the air. You end up with a lot of contaminants that things with the chemicals in Iron Buster helps remove, helps actually take them off the surface. There are other cleaners that do a lot of cleaning as well, but this just adds to the process. And it, given that it has that turning purple characteristic, it lets you know it's doing its job, and it lets you know whether that job needed to be done in that spot. Because once those materials are gone, it's not going to be turned purple.
So iron particulate's one thing. So, but there's also that term industrial fallout.
Sure.
And so this will work on that as well.
Sure.
Correct? Okay.
Absolutely.
And
Because
this
it is migrating to the surface.
Okay.
And it's not just an iron remover. There are other surfactants and cleaners in the product that do surface cleaning as well.
Okay. So we've played with this a lot. We've stacked this. We put this on a wheel, and then we come back and then brake buster over, kind of do the grime removal. This works great as a standalone.
Right.
We use it on paint, and it's safe on there.
Right.
Most factory wheels out of cars today are painted anyway, so it's safe there. Anything we shouldn't use it on? That we can think of?
I don't know. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean,
So
as far as
obviously
as
powder
far as-
coating is always a little finicky. but
Yeah, you know,
beyond
when
that-
you end up with some of the, especially if it's, you know, powder coated surface that is older, drier, perhaps not as high quality. You can see some, but it's not actually unique to this product.
It's
You
it would be
find
any
that
product
across the board. Whenever you approach one of those surfaces, you have the potential for.
So let's talk
issues.
about scents, because I love the fact that a lot of our products are non-offensive, but they have a pleasant scent. And it's hard to say that any iron remover has a pleasant scent,
Right.
but you infuse a little bit of flavor with this. What'd you
It's
put in
better.
there?
It's better. You know, it's kind of got a little bit of a cherry note to it, if you want to call that. It's still can permeate some things, but yeah, it is much better than a lot of the products out there.
So next year we're going to go pretty quick. We're kind of ground floor in here, and so this is our wash product line. This year, a couple of things we came out with was the 3-bucket label system, which is just really kind of helps clean up the shop, tighten up the look in the shop. So you have a rinse bucket, a wheels bucket, and a wash bucket. Really nothing new in the industry. We've been talking about these things for many years about having the 2-bucket method, 3-bucket method. And this year we just kind of helped define that for our customers by providing them with a label system. So really kind of a neat add to the product lineup, and kind of a fun thing to do. With that, we've added a new drying towel. So this is a great towel. Again, another rag company product that we sell.
Absolutely. If you've never used a drying towel, they are pretty amazing at the amount of water that they will soak up.
Yep.
And we actually when we were at McCall's last year,
I was just tell the story.
McCall's story was, that we,
prepped all the cars, covered most of them up, and then the next day the fog rolled in.
Yep.
And these cars were wet. And so we started wiping them down with these towels, and they did an amazing job of removing the water. And then we had to use this is a technique that a lot of the rag company people didn't know.
And Levi,
and
were
this is
using
an
this
old
one.
this is an old bath towel dock technique that Bob and I know from when we were kids. Is when you're on the dock and your towel got soaked and you needed to use it, you would roll them up like that. But that is a really good way to get the water out. But these things get very soaked and very heavy.
Yeah, they can hold, I forget what, like 1 or 2 times more than their own weight in water, which is pretty amazing. Of course, we didn't wipe those cars down until we took really incredible shots of Vue water on those cars.
Right,
So,
absolutely.
we're still using some of those shots. Bouncing over, again, not a new product, one that's been in the adult black line from day one, but we had a request to get Pearl into a new bottle. So this is just kind of a cool thing we did. We're going to highlight this a little more at the rag company next week, and we're all going to be there. So we'll just leave this to say, guys, we got it in the new bottle. And stay tuned next week for our event on Wednesday. We'll show you a little bit more about this when we get there. And then again, another product. They're not sexy, but I think they're effective and they're cool to have a really good high quality wash mitt. And for years, really the only thing out there was kind of that woolly mitt or a synthetic woolly mitt. And so this is a microfiber, kind of almost feels like a rag end mitt. Obviously, we're all about the branding here at PNS. We like to let you know that we're making the effort. So talk to me about this. This is a great product as far as cleaning and washing.
Right. So you get really good lubricity out of this material, especially when it's got a soapy solution on it. It's going to give you the extra confidence when you have a black car, right? Because it's a microfiber material.
And
so
it holds a lot of soap and solution.
The microfiber is going to provide a lot of surface area for particulate to go up into and get it off and away from that surface. And it's also, you're going to be confident that the microfiber itself is going to be scratch free. So the original wash mitts are a mainstay. But if you just need a little extra confidence in what you're doing, these are a really nice addition.
And when we start talking about micro scratching, I mean, that's a whole new level with a lot of the coatings out there. So being confident in a product that's not going to damage that coating is really super to have around. And great mitt and really good long durability on it. So we're going to go from the ground floor up to the penthouse. And so we've highlighted this system. But again, let's talk a little bit about the new Chemtrol. Obviously, we have a couple pieces of equipment it works with, and some of the products are not new. TrueVue's been a mainstay for us for many, many years. EnviroClean as well. But there's a few new products in the family. Knockoff is a new product that you've worked on for wheel cleaning.
Right.
Boy, we played with that yesterday.
Yes.
What an incredible product. So. And then Tempest, again, another heavy-duty degreaser concentrated product, and Odyssey, a water-based dressing. So let's and body wash, obviously, also new to the line.
Right.
This one is really great. 200-to-1, high dilution ratio, real effective. So talk a little about the products and the development here.
I would say, what we've done in the products that we have included that were products we've had in the past is, like the Rennie Doyle dye, we've kind of taken some of our favorites. Things that we've learned from our customers in the field, where we get a phone call from Doug, who says, this is my favorite glass cleaner I've ever tried, and Doug's is really experienced, and we go, wow, okay, it's been Bob's favorite glass cleaner forever, so we included in this line. EnviroClean is just a solid mainstay. I mean, it's a very modern, very environmentally friendly, general purpose cleaner that does a really good, strong job. So again, fits well, good high dilution ratio, one of our favorites. Body wash is like this crazy unsung hero that, like you said, has incredible foam, incredible lubricity, incredible dilution capabilities, and lasting time, in the bucket sort of lasting time.
And we know in a high volume shop, that bucket sits there full of water all day.
Right.
And, so you want something that's going to kind of, maybe the foam doesn't sit on the top, but it reactivates and the foam is there when you're when
in
you're
this
scrubbing on
case,
the
this
car.
has just been my favorite, right? I've been using.
We finally found Dave's favorite.
Well, for a wash, I like just amazing, and it goes forever, So yeah, I don't need to get a whole bunch all the time. So the new products would be Knockoff, Tempest, and Odyssey. Knockoff has the same name as the product that we've had in the past,
Right, car wash product
And a-
line
and a
that
car wash
was used
product
for
line.
automatic tire application.
and it has the same application. Knockoff did a great job of actually attacking the surface, cleaning the surface, breaking the material off of the wheel, but it lacked some user appeal. So we did actually go through and make quite a bit of change to Knockoff, but it does have the same cleaning capabilities. But what we've done is we've added some foam, we've added some really nice lubricity, we've added, and then kept the same dilution ratios that we had before. So, and it's nice and thin, so it goes through the system really
Hint
well.
on that one. Get yourself an IK foamer and watch the show. Because
Right.
that was yesterday. We were blown away at the show we got out of it. I mean, just the foam just went
Right,
on there
it's a
and hung on
shaving
the
cream
tire.
foam.
It was fantastic.
Yeah,
So,
you just and then there's the really cool thing about everybody likes to see in a tire cleaner is the bloom. Right, the brown come running off the tire, and then your tire physically changes its color from a brownish to a nice gray or black surface.
and that really helps us put dressing on that's
Right.
going to stay in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
But we'll get the Tempest before we get to the dressing. So talk to me about Tempest, because Sydney just last week just blew it up a little bit with that product, doing some floor mats as kind of an all-purpose heavy-duty degreaser type product. So tell me what's new with Tempest and what we did there.
So Tempest got its start from a product that we had called. Sometimes I like to just tell the story a little bit, because a lot of times, some of the chemistry that's available in some of these products just makes me gets me some ideas of where I want to go. So we've had a product we called Hot Shot Classic, or Old Hot Shot.
Right.
That had been sitting around for a while, and it's been kind of continuing to sell on its own. And we looked at that and went, well, it has a lot of appeal to it. It needed some modernization, so that's what we did. We used some of the technology from the old Hot Shot, brought it back in and gave it more customer appeal, and it again, like Knockoff, it has really good surface cleaning capabilities and high dilution ratios at good surface cleaning at high dilution ratios. So it's just a good effective cleaner.
So very similar to most degreasers, high pH product.
High pH product.
And same thing with Knockoff. So it's a non-acid wheel cleaner.
Right.
And it's a higher pH product.
Higher pH, but not as high as Tempest.
Obviously not as hot as Tempest, but
Right.
because it's designed to do kind of a different thing with
Right.
wheels
And
and
then
tires.
so it has alkalinity. Now, in the case of Knockoff, when you dilute it down, you're going to drop that alkalinity down to kind of a more user-friendly level. When you got Tempest and you start diluting it down, the alkalinity stays pretty high.
Okay.
So it's still something you want to maintain some care with.
Gloves
Yes.
and whatnot. And then we get to Odyssey. So
Odyssey.
we have got, a new dressing here. This is a dilutable dressing,
It is a dilutable dressing.
water base.
Yes.
Okay.
It is unfortunately a little too thick to go through the proportioning system. We did try to make a product that would go through the proportioning system, and we haven't gotten there. We went to Odyssey. Bob and I discussed what we wanted to get out of this product, and what we decided that would provide the best result was a hybrid gel.
Okay.
So what you get out of a gel dressing is you get instant gloss.
Right.
You get the ability to dress a wet tire. You get less dieback. What you get with the hybrid version is you get really even coating, and then you've added, kind of taken the best of both worlds and put them together in the one product. And in this case, the gels also dilute out better. So that's what gives Odyssey its dilutability, is the gel dressing hybrid portion of the product.
So you talked about this kind of in relation to tires.
Mhm.
Can we use this on the interior?
You can, but I would dilute it further,
Okay. So
which is really cool.
let's talk about tires. What are we thinking dilution ratio for something like
So
this?
1-to-1,
Okay. And then interiors?
4-to-1.
Okay. So we can get a lot of mileage out
Yeah.
of a single product, single gallon. Obviously, it comes in larger quantities, but for a shop operator, having a gallon will go a long way for a kind of a one-person show or small shop.
Right.
And if you're a dealer, you're using large quantities. You know, a 5-gallon pail of this will go a long way when you look at the dilution ratios you can use with it. So
Sure.
Another great product that just kind of rounds out that line of more of a commercial grade line of products for our dealers, but also really user friendly to the one person or the small shop operator
And
as well.
yes, and I just can't emphasize, how much we like the products.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not like these are like, hey, let's just take something and make it into a new concept. We've taken what we consider really good products and made them available.
Right. And why reinvent the wheel on something when you have great products that you really love? And we gave them a great platform to kind of, to use a presidential term, gave them a platform to speak from, as it were. So the last thing is what's under the orange towel. And we can't say anything.
Yeah.
Because we got a deal going next week. And this is where we're going to kind of leave off today. So at 3:30 Mountain Time, which is Boise time frame, there is a product reveal with the Rag Company. This is a product that we've been working with, to put together, and that we're going to work with them on putting out.
Probably 9 months now.
Yeah. So lots of fingers in the pie on the development of this. We really tested it. You were telling us earlier, one of the most kind of tested and developed products you've done in a while.
Right.
And it's really exciting for us. And that's what we can tell you. So that's what we're going to tell you. If you want to see what's under the towel, tune in 6 days in Boise, Idaho, when we do our SEMA event with the Rag Company. And that'll be Wednesday, 3:30 Mountain Time. Dave will be there. Bob will be there. Rennie will be there. Diane will be there. Sydney will be there. And of course, I'll be there. So until next time, I'm Keith Duplessis. This is Dave Phillips. We have a caveat.
Tonight, our panel tonight.
Yes. So don't forget, 4 o'clock, we're going to bring the hitters to the table. We have got leading manufacturers in this industry. The kind of chief executive of each of those, or founders of each of those companies, are going to be on with Rennie and Bob at 4 p.m. today. So don't miss that. That's going to be cool. If you thought the Coating Smackdown was a thing last year, this is going to be another great event for you guys to really tune in and kind of hear some backstory on some of the best known brands we've had in many, many years.
Tomorrow's Q&A.
And then tomorrow morning, Dave's got to be ready, because I know everybody wants to ask Dave. We have a saying at P&S called "Hey Dave."
Hey Dave.
But we're going to have the entire team in an open panel. There is no topic that's off limits. We may refuse to answer or take the fifth, but there's going to be no questions off limits for us. That's at 8 a.m. tomorrow. That'll wrap up our SEMA week, and we'll go as long as we need to with that. So until then, though, for Dave Phillips, Bob Phillips behind the camera, and myself, Keith Duplessis, we'll see you guys at 4 o'clock today.